prototypes.
Where do you see pension reform or changes to the pensions going?
A couple of things. One is we recently, under Jeb's mentoring, completed a real substantial change to the teachers' retirement system. We were able to cut the normal cost, which is a part of the actuarial costing for pensions, in half, and save over $15 million a year, and put together something with the NEA and with the help of teachers that's a win-win. We expect the same result with the VSEA and the Vermont Troopers Association. I think that everyone here is concerned about retirement security, and they're also concerned about the impact on the rising costs to taxpayers. And again, we can find a solution that manages to provide ongoing retirement security and meet the taxpayers' need at the same time.
VSEA would tell you we just went through the same process ourselves, pension reform not too many years ago. Do you anticipate any resistance from them? And Jeb, I believe you at the time said we're good to go now. How do you deal with that?
Well, first of all, let me state that was then, this is now. And we actually did make a lot of progress with the state employees, and it should be recognized that any new state employee after July 1st, 2008 has a higher normal retirement age, and a few other changes as well. Their contribution went up. Having said that, and it's going to be a pleasure for me to turn this over to Beth. My expectation is, and I think if you ask the VSEA, their expectation is that they will help us find additional savings again this year.
What about the fiscal challenges facing the new administration and governor? Does that concern you? Do you think our bond rating is at risk and we're losing so much federal stimulus money in this coming period? What's your message to the legislature, to policymakers?
Okay, I think we need to exercise fiscal discipline. I think that the governor's choice and Secretary of Administration and the governor himself are committed to that. And I think they're committed to that message for the taxpayer. But I think there are creative ways to look at our budget, and to the extent that we in the Treasurer's Office can help with that. One of the sources of funds that we are involved in is capital financing. Right now, the state's debt, outstanding debt, I'm going to check with Steve, but about $465 million, give or take a little there, rounding like Jeb said. And that's kept us below the Moody's indicators and the rating agency indicators in debt per capita and in debt as a percentage of personal income. Those are the types of things that help us in terms of our bond rating. We're below the 50-state average, and we're actually below the average for AAA states in both of those categories. So we have a capital debt affordability advisory committee that sets the debt amounts from year to year, and they have done their work and produced some recommendations that will be given to the governor. And using that as a resource judiciously is one way the Treasurer's Office can help. And in terms of looking at alternative financing and improving some of our processes. One of the processes that we've improved is cash management forecasting. Many years ago, we typically have dips in our cash flow around this time of year, actually, as Act 68 monies go out the door, and you haven't collected all the monies that will come in June 1st, I believe. And so you have a little bit of a dip in December, and sometimes you have a dip in May. And we tended to borrow short-term monies to cover those. Well, since Treasurer Spalding and I have been here, we've done and with the help of a lot of staff. I mean, we have the best. There's a gentleman in our accounting area named Dan Courier, and he's the best cash manager I've ever met. And we've been able to improve our cash management techniques, improve our cash management projections, so we haven't had to go out there and borrow on a contingent basis. And that's a way we've been able to save money, the interest savings on that for the state.